Isobel Beck, and I've just finished probation in St Kentigern's Church in New Farm Loch. I'm working as a locum just now, 3 days and a Sunday in Castle Milk Church and 1 day in Cambuslang Church, assisting the ministers there. My role at the moment is really quite a bit of pastoral work, visiting the elderly, sick, etc. And in Castle Milk I'm involved in the school work as well, going into the classrooms and into the assemblies, which is fantastic. I'm also involved in helping with the services and involved with the Sunday school in Castle Milk Church too. I'm training for the Diaconate Ministry, and the Diaconate Ministry is a complementary ministry to the Ministers of Word and Sacrament. It's there's a lot of the things that we do the same as Ministers of Word and Sacrament can do. We can lead worship, we can conduct weddings, conduct funerals, be a chaplain in the schools and prisons. But the diaconate is considered more a bridge between the church and the community, so we're working a lot with the community, and that can involve working in various projects. It's a fantastic ministry. It's normally a collaborative ministry, so you're normally working as a team, and a lot of deacons work in priority areas. I felt called to ministry maybe about, it was as long as 7 years ago, but I just felt at the time, it was quite daunting, the fact that I felt God calling me into ministry. I grew up in the Church of Scotland since an early age and was heavily involved in the church. I was involved in Girls' Brigade and Youth Fellowship. I always believed when you were a member of the church, in doing things and using any gifts that you had to work within the church. So I had quite a bit of involvement in my younger life and then growing up. And then I went on to the board and in the Kirk session as well as I got older. But I felt God calling me into ministry, and it was a bit daunting because ministers when I was younger were clever and just seemed to know everything, and that just certainly wasn't me. I left school at 16 with very little qualifications, just a few O grades, and just went to work and had always worked. So the thought of being called into ministry was quite a daunting experience. However, I spoke to my minister at that time, and still took a wee while to consider it. I think it was a bit like Moses and Jonah, thinking running in the opposite direction. However, I did eventually, God was persistent, and I did eventually take the plunge, and I phoned 121 to find out where I could go, what was the next step, and they told me about inquiry conference, and I just didn't have a clue. The only ministry I knew really was Minister Word and Sacrament, and I really found that I wasn't quite sure if that's where God was calling me. So the inquiry conference was fantastic in the sense that it showed you the different, into different groups, and it showed you the different vocations that were available, and you had a chance to hear about these vocations, and then you would go and consider the call, if you still felt the call, and what vocation that you felt called to. And the two deacons that spoke at the conference just spoke really well about the involvement in community and the fact that it was a team ministry, and that felt really appealing to myself at that time. And I prayed about it, and God spoke to me through sermons, through prayer and through scripture reading, all the way through my calling, and I just felt that diaconate was really where I felt that God was calling me to. I started my inquiry placement with the Reverend Andrew Black in Butcher Hill in Irvine, and I just really loved my time there, and that just gave me the assurance that the call was right. But at the same time, as I started my inquiry placement, I also had to consider university, and university was a huge stumbling block for me, because I'd left school at 16, as I said, and now I was in my 40s, and the thought of going to university just did not appeal to me at all. However, I had to do an access course to get into uni, so I started the access course and the inquiry placement, and I was still working at the same time, because I figured at that time that if I didn't get through into university, then there was no point in following up in the after my inquiry, and if I didn't get through the inquiry, then there was no point in going to university. So I thought I had to do everything together, which I did. I got through the access course. I got 3 Bs and a C, needed 2 Bs and 2 Cs as a minimum, and was successful in getting put forward to an assessment conference after my inquiry placement. So we went to the assessment conference, and I got through for Diaconate Ministry, which was just fantastic, and I also got into university, which was just amazing. But that still wasn't convinced that I was clever enough to do this. So university, and it was a struggle, it was difficult. However, someone gave me a wee card during that time that talked about from 2 Corinthians, I think 12, chapter verse 9, just reminding me that God is our strength, and that He'll get us through. When we ask Him, He'll get us through, and that's exactly, I drew in God's strength, and I got through university and through my placements. So even if you don't feel confident, if you feel it could never be me, you just have to really put your faith in God and trust in Him, and He'll take you through it and He will guide you through it. And there's a load of support around about you as well, from the church and from other colleagues. It's just support that you get, and God puts the right people in your path at just the right time.